Nobody has any reason to be calling me right now. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. You know, if you need something from me, you text me. Be like, hey, this is what I need. Or, hey, are you awake? Can you talk on the phone? No, I'm not awake and I don't want to talk on the phone. So why
True.
don't you grab a
But
handful and fuck off?
some people don't text back. Like I
Or better
ghost.
yet, some people, when you text them, then they call you.
The best is when they have on their phone, they have the read receipt on their text messages, so you could see when they read your text message and
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
saw it that they don't respond to you, and then you're like, this SOB, he's just ignoring me. But a lot of people don't even realize they have it enabled on their phone.
yeah.
They're just you know,
I do that all the time. I ignore text, or I'll respond later. But I'm like, yeah, I just see what you said. It's not an emergency. I'll respond later, sort of thing.
See, I do that all the time. Either that or I'll read and I'm like, I don't really feel like talking to
Oh,
anyone
look,
right now. I'm just gonna
now there's a text.
that's what happens. See, she's got her priorities switched. She should start with the text, follow up with a call.
correct. Because then when you see that they answer it, they're obviously awake.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time when I call, it's because I'm either driving and I can't text, or it's like some really long, complicated thing that it's easier just to say it than it is to try to explain it through text message.
Yeah.
You guys keep talking for a second. I got to respond to this. It's sort of an emergency, so I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So Bill's a landlord,
Yeah.
and his tenant hasn't had water for a week. So it's a pretty serious situation right now. They're shitting in buckets.
Yeah, essentially they really are. They're shitting in buckets,
What?
tossing it out the window. Neighbors are walking by, getting hit with turds.
You didn't even at least get him a porta john?
No, is that an option?
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
No, I'm just like crap in the garbage disposal. You'll be fine. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
And this episode is brought to you by.
I mean, you can't be crapping in the toilets. Those things are drier than the Sahara Desert right now. They haven't flushed those things since.
So how comes you haven't
last
fixed
Friday.
it? You haven't gotten to that. Why haven't you fixed it?
Well, so here's the situation. So they last Saturday or Sunday, they sent me a message saying like that the pump in the sump pump in the well pit, I don't know what else to call it, but out behind the house there's this cement room down in the ground, and it's got the pressure tank, it's got the sump pump, and it's where
Not
like, the well stuff is.
Well pump.
What's that?
Well pump.
Not a sump pump.
No, there's a sump pump down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So maybe it's an old fashioned cistern, maybe.
I don't know what it is, but there's also a pressure tank. So, and that's also where like the electronics for the well pump and stuff are.
There's usually a pressure switch right off to the side. Yeah.
So like that started filling up with water, and I don't know how they noticed this, but that started filling up with water. So they told me, and I'm like, all right, well, we might just need a new sump pump. And at the time, I was like in Cleveland, probably fixing a cheese dispenser or showing a manager how to open a door or something stupid. So I'm like, I can't do anything. Like I'm millions of miles away. And so I was like, all right, well, keep an eye on it. I'll see if I can get a plumber. And this was on a weekend, I must have called 20 plumbers, honestly, and nobody called me back. Couldn't get a hold of anybody till Monday. And then like maybe 3 called me back. And then I had a guy go out there, and by this time, like the crawl space had filled up with water. And this time it wasn't just the sump pump or whatever was failing in the pressure pit. We had actual broken water line. The well pump line that was feeding water into the house has cracked or broken somewhere. So it's just pumping water underneath the house. And so then I had a restoration company. They came out, sucked all the water out, dried everything out for me. And then I had the plumber go back there. I was like, all right, well, let me know what we need. And this time I was in Indiana or something. I was somewhere. And he's like, all right, well, he called me back. He's like, I can get in the crawl space, but I can't get to that side of the house from the crawl space. Like this crawl space only accesses like one little tiny part of the house. I'm like, well, that's stupid. So it's like, we need to cut a hole in the floor to get over there where this pipe is probably broken. We don't know exactly where it's broken. We're just kind of guessing. So I went there yesterday morning, and I pulled off one of those little vents on the side of the side of the house, and it's like just big enough where you can kind of see through, right?
Mhm.
So I'm in there with my mirror and my, just my whatever I can get in there to try to see. And I found where I think it is. Like I can see water squirting, right? But I can't see exactly around the corner. And so it's like, all right, well, it's right here. I was like, we need to cut the floor up here. So I go in the house and I'm walking around this floor, and like the floor of this rental is kind of like wavy. And I feel like an edge, what feels like a difference in floorboards. And it's a carpeted floor. So I'm like, I need to cut your carpet, bro. And he's like, okay, the carpet's shit. I mean, it's a shit carpet. And slice it open, pull it back. I'm like, oh, it looks like there's an access here. So I didn't have time to cut it all up today or yesterday and see it. So today's project was going to be cutting all the carpet up and going through that whole deal. So yeah. They're kind of on the phone with them in the background, dealing with some other stuff because they don't have any water. I mean, they're crapping in buckets, tossing it out the window. Like it's been a whole big thing, And then on top of that, I got a full-time job.
You got a what?
Full-time job.
Oh, I thought you said find a job. I'm like, what? Sorry, I misheard.
Well, I mean, now that you mention it, it's not a bad idea either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because as you guys were talking, I just got like an emergency service call for 3 states over in Indiana. They're like, our drive-through window isn't locking. We need same-day service. I'm like, really? Because
Call
I
Pat.
don't understand why you have a service call to look at a drive-through window.
In Indiana.
Who accepts that?
no idea. Somebody went in there and they're like, boop, boobily doop.
Like
And
how
they accepted it.
That $50 show fee really goes real long.
You know how much money we're gonna lose on this job? Like
Yeah.
just me hopping in my van, we've already lost money on it. I don't understand.
you should send like a group text or whatever to the owner and the dispatcher and be like, number 1, I don't know how to fix windows. Number 2, how much can you make from fixing said window? Number 3, I have to drive 4 hours each way to make a $30 repair on the window.
Well, see, the thing is like I know how to fix the window. I don't have any parts to fix the window. It's a weekend. Like where am I? And it needs a lock, so it needs a tumbler lock. I mean, it's a common failure.
Call locksmith.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'll go there and be like, yeah, this part's bad. I can order it. They're like, oh, you don't have one in your van? No, I don't drive a semi truck full of all the parts needed for your whole restaurant because I'll work on your cooler, your fryer, your cheese dispenser, your door locks. Like we do everything, dude. And they just think we have all this stuff on our van. But also, like Adam said, the drive is gonna kill it. Like I'll make some money on overtime driving there and driving
They're
back.
not gonna make shit on that job.
We're gonna lose our ass on that
like
job,
it
bro.
probably would be cheaper for them just to call a window
subcontract like
and like buy a new window, have a freaking new drive-through window installed. That would probably be cheaper and more cost effective.
Or just subcontract a locksmith.
Have someone back into it with a car, and then insurance will pay for it for a small deductible.
Yeah,
it would probably be cheaper than the service call.
Well, let me tell you a quick story about my day yesterday of one of the reasons why I couldn't get out to this property and take care of some stuff. And this is just me ranting right now. This has nothing to do with our main topic point. But so yesterday, after I was at my rental, like dealing with that whole mess, hopped in my van. I drove an hour and a half south into Ohio. I put a spring that big on a shake machine because they're like, it's runny sometimes. And this little spring kind of controls the temperature. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll change this spring out. Because every time I come here, when you guys complain, it works absolutely fine. 25.6 degree shake mix. You're not going to get any better than that. So I drive down there, change this spring. And then they're like, oh, we got a call for you in Indiana. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I drive 2 hours further south into Indiana because I'm supposed to look at another shake machine. And I get there and I find out that the work order was 2 weeks old. And they're like, oh, yeah, another company was just here this morning. They already fixed that. I'm like, oh, great. So I drove here for nothing. And then from there, I had to drive all the way back to like the other side of Ohio to look at a fryer. I'm like, this is wacky. Just wacky, bro.
You have no excuse to listen to any books or any kind of podcast you've been looking to bone up
on.
Oh,
dude, I listen to so much audio, like my ear, like I'm getting tinnitus. Tinnitus, is that how you say it? Tinnitus.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I listen to so much audio stuff.
I just recommended a book to somebody, 48 Laws of Power. Did you ever read it before?
No.
You need to read it, or you need to get the Audible.
48 Laws of Power?
Extremely good book. It's a lot of stuff that I do, and then some things that I've never even heard of, like, to kind of, work your way in business, and kind of it's kind of just really a way to get your way.
48 Laws of Power. Huh?
That's like
Maybe
an
I'll look
older
at
book,
that.
isn't it?
Yes, sir.
I think I listened to like half of it, and I don't know if I like that book. I might be thinking about a different book, but I think I kind of like, maybe it was not even half of it. I think I was listening to it on an airplane, and I was like, I'm not really impressed with
It might be because, like, throughout the book, like, they'll have a chapter on a certain subject, but they'll talk about an Aesop or a fable, or something from old, and then to basically bring their point about what they're going to talk about with the story that you just heard, and then maybe that could be it. Because sometimes that can be long-winded, especially if there's 2 or 3 stories.
I just don't know if I enjoyed the message. I don't think it was necessarily how they were portraying it. I think, like, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of, I think I might be mistaken that book, but the way I saw the direction of it going was kind of like, hey, it's like kind of manipulating things to gain more power in your life or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's also understanding why people, in upper business do the things they do, right?
That makes
So
sense.
like, sometimes, like, it kind of fucks you up if your boss is treating you a certain way, and you're like, well, why are you doing that? One hand you're giving me a compliment, the other one you're smacking me on the bottom, and it kind of, the book kind of puts it in perspective.
Right.
What's
on
that
why.
book of what is it? How to Influence People and like make friends or something like that? I
Yeah.
always wanted to read that book. I haven't though.
That's another one that I went halfway through. See, I'm like really weird with books that if I'm not enjoying it early on within the first whatever half
Same
hour,
here.
I'm just like, and go on to the next one. You know?
Yeah, same here. Like I started reading the Racked Manual and I'm like 50 pages in. I'm like,
That's a tough read.
This is a tough read. And I really do want to read it. I read it once, one other time in my life. I read the whole book. I think I skipped some of the chapters about like business and shit, but like that was my like pivotal moment. Like I read the whole book. I couldn't tell you much about the book other than, the basics of refrigeration, the things that I remember that I use in my work life. But I have this like Tony Robbins book that I'm reading right now, and I like it, but carving out time to read for me has been so difficult, and I really want to jump on the audiobook. Do you guys freeze on me?
No, I'm just still listening.
My screen went kind of funky, but I really want to jump on the audiobook platform. But
well, you can take about any PDF and put it in Speechify, and then you can pick whatever kind of voice that you want.
Yeah, I saw that you guys were messing with that.
I just finished this audio. I use Audible. Audible is like you pay a monthly subscription, and then you get so many credits or whatever to get different books and whatnot. But the last one I just listened to was "Be Your Future Self Now," and that was a pretty cool book.
See, the thing is with audiobooks, I listen to a ton of podcasts already. And so like
what?
The one thing that I could probably cut out is I listen to this podcast called Dave and Chuck the Freak, and it's mostly just like these radio guys. Their local radio guys are fucking funny as hell. And it's really just an entertainment podcast. And I could probably cut that out and fit in a audio book. But besides that, I'm listening to like motivational podcast, fitness podcast, HVAC podcast. The majority of it is my Spanish instructional podcasts. So then I got to try to fit in like an audiobook.
Well, for all the driving you just told us that you were doing, why is that a problem?
Well, I mean, I do probably 2 hours of Spanish a day, and then I do probably about an hour of menial other podcasts, maybe 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's really not about trying to fit it in. Honestly, I could probably just rearrange some stuff. Because the whole romantic idea of getting up early enough, getting my workout in, and then sitting down and reading with my morning coffee, that's my goal. But it's not panning out for me because in order to reach my physical goals, it takes a lot longer and it cuts into my time that I would have carved out for reading. So yeah, I think I just need to get Audible.
Do it.
100%.
So we're off topic, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Let's get back on topic. What topic were we talking about this week?
It's Mental Health Awareness Month this month. And, I just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about things to look out for, when you think something's awry with somebody that you're friends with. You don't want to make injections based off of, just maybe just anybody, because you don't want to insult them, but just look out for for people when there's key things that they do. I know I'm a big one for ghosting people. I'll talk and talk and talk, and then I'll just, whenever I just get in that real bad dark place, I end up just ghosting people and just not talking to anybody. Maybe that's something to look out for. Any demeanor changes. You guys ever had any seen that up close and personal with any kind of relatives or people that you live with?
Ghosting?
Like either ghosting or just the way their demeanor acts. Someone sleeping all day.
I mean, I've done that, I mean, that happened throughout the entire COVID thing. I think it happened probably for a lot of people, but I go through times where I'm just like, man, I just want to lay in bed all day. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, I don't feel like doing anything, but I'm trying to like get over that. And I think it helps too, like getting up and, like what Bill's saying, exercise a little bit and that. But like, I think a lot of people do that where they're just like, they stop talking to people and they're in their own world. But the problem is like, you're in your head, you're losing track of the life.
And not to interrupt you, Adam, but Jim Carrey, I don't know if you follow his journey through life, like he's sort of battled, like I think he's battling mental stuff or has battled it. I remember he said something that's pretty, like, I don't remember exactly word for word, but it sort of hit me with a little bit of force. But he said, like, if you're having mental images or mental health problems and you're not eating the correct food, you're not getting out, getting fresh air, you're not exercising, you're not getting sunlight, you're not doing the basics of the very basics to take care of yourself, the bare minimum to take care of yourself, then you have almost no chance of bettering yourself mentally. You can go to a doctor, take all these pills, but the truth is, and this is just me, that's not Jim Carrey talking now, if you didn't notice that I'm not Jim Carrey, but he said you can go to a doctor, or no, I'm getting off topic. What was I talking about? I totally, sorry guys,
my
phone's going off like right in front of me, and it's like
you don't have a chance if you don't like take care of yourself.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So to what you were saying, Adam, getting on and walking, like just getting that fresh air, open up your brain, blood vessels, like whatever it is, like that's key in everybody's life. And I look at it as like, if you're having mental health problems, a lot of people just go to a doctor. They go to a psychologist, counselor, doctor, whatever. They're like, I need some pills, and they give them some pills. But my whole thing is I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure that we are not advanced enough to completely understand the human brain and all the various chemicals that influence it and all the various other things that influence it. I don't think we're there that we can like confidently say like, here, take this amount of chemical and it's going to tweak this part of your personality, because we really don't even know exactly what controls that personality. Like we have basic ideas, and a majority of the time they're giving you stuff and monitoring the results. Like that's what they do. And then like, oh, bad results, here's a new pill. Bad results, here's a new pill. Okay, results, all right, add this pill. Bad results, all right, add this other pill. It's crazy to me that that's the solution a lot of people run to when they're having mental problems.
We do that all the time, right? I mean, whether it be pain or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point too. Like with even physical body
pain. Bless you for the third time. Sorry.
Like physical body pain. Like my legs are killing me. Or the best one yet that I hear in our industry all the time is like, oh, dude, my back hurts, or even my knees hurt. And then I'm like, When was the last time you stretched? When was the last time you walked?
Sound like my wife. Whenever
When
I
I got
mean,
up for the toilet paper.
I can't tell you how many times I was telling Adam this for years, or maybe it was Adam, Chris, Joe, like all you fuckers. You know, they're like, "Oh, my back hurts, my back hurts." I get it, dude. My back still hurts all the time, or not all the time, but it's a lot less now. But you know, you can take Tylenol, ibuprofen. You can go to a doctor. They can probably cut you open and do some stuff that may or may not work even a little bit. But did you try stretching? Did you try lifestyle changes? Did you try walking, dieting, eating better? No. Why? Because that takes more effort, doesn't it, than going to a doctor?
Out of convenience.
Hmm.
Why do we do things? Because we're a creature of habit, and
They want to go from easiest to easiest. That's it. But it's not. The
I'm
thing is,
guilty
like,
of it.
even though it's easier, in the long term, is that it's not going to last very long. Like, you got to find a long term solution.
See what I have struggled with when trying to continue walking is when you hit wintertime. I know you have a treadmill, Bill, but like I am totally once it starts getting cold, I'm like, yeah, screw this crap. You know,
See, that's not a long term solution.
I get it. What can I do? I can move to like Georgia, eat some peaches.
Yeah, you're not going to do that.
No, definitely not.
No, just get a
But
treadmill.
let me tell you something. I multiple times during my walk yesterday, I started. I don't want to call it running because I'm kind of old and fat, and I don't
Mhm.
necessarily think that fits the definition of what I was actually doing. But it was kind of like walking with attitude, or like maybe intermediate jogging.
Yeah, like fast walking, like the
Like-
old
like a-
people do in the malls.
Like a pissed off gym teacher.
Yeah.
I would love to see like a somebody watching me from afar, and it's like you just feel yourself like, oh man, it's not like it was when I was a kid. I'll tell you that.
It's like that guy's going as fast as a Karen up to a customer service desk.
I want to speak to your manager.
Yeah. Get over here right now. Oh, that's amazing. I'd love to see Adam fast walk, because I've watched him walk before and he's got a weird gait. Like he's got a weird walk to him. So to see that in fast motion, that'd be hilarious.
I told my wife that yesterday, and she busted out laughing when I told her that. She's like, "You running?" She's like, "I want to see it. Do it right."
Do it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife's seen me run before. I mean, I can run okay, not for very long though, but I can do it okay. But
yeah, I definitely see that. Like exercising that definitely helps with the whole mental mindset and everything else like that. Because after doing whatever, I've been going for long walks in the mornings. I find myself like more mentally with it and like ready to accomplish the day.
and I kind of think that's a combination of things. Like for you getting out there, you're getting fresh air, and it's like I don't know, there's something to do with like maybe a dopamine hit, or your body's just releasing these feel good chemicals, because it's like, all right, we're working. This is what we're designed to do. I mean, we're designed to move and to walk and to like do things. And then also you got the mental aspect of like you won the day already. Like you already accomplished a goal that you walk into any, just for example, I was talking to my life coach the other day about this, and we were talking about giving yourself gratitude for the things that you accomplish. Like, and a lot of times we don't. I know I don't. It's one of the things that I struggle with, is being gracious for what I do, because I'm always like, I could do more. I could do more. I could be better. I could be better than what I am now. And he's like, you ever go into a grocery store? You ever go into a Walmart and look around? You think any of those people did what you did today? You think any of those people are tracking calories, watching their diet, talking to a life coach, trying to journal and get their mental health shit out of the way? You think anybody did any of that? Like, so even though you think you're down here, you're probably up around this level of above average sort of people.
That
So
I
like,
mean, that is true, and I could definitely see that. And like I was actually thinking about that on my walk this morning. I'm like, man, if you would have told me a year ago what I am doing or potentially starting to do right now, like in my professional career, I'd be like, there's no freaking way. I could never imagine that I'd accomplish what I'm accomplishing right now. Although like I look at other people and I'm like, man, how did they do what they do? Like I'm so far away from that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's discouraging because like, yeah, I'm doing more than a lot of other people, but then like just yesterday, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this or well, I'm not gonna say specifics, but somebody that we all knew or somebody that we all know wrote a book. It's not out yet. I read it and it's good, you know, and the amount of things that this person has accomplished in his life is incredible, and it's like, dude, I can't do that. Like, I tell myself I can't do that, and I know I probably can, but I don't understand how I would be able to do it, you know what I mean?
Mhm. You know, that reminds me of something like way, 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 way back in the day. I heard this story that, and this may have no relevance to this particular part of the story, but when the Pilgrims first came to the United States, right? The Indians were standing on the shore and they didn't see anything, but there was these ships coming in and they didn't see them. And the reason they didn't see them is because they've never seen ships before and they couldn't quantify what this was in their brains. So the brains just blocked it out. So if you can't visualize yourself accomplishing that goal of, let's say you want to write a book, you can't see yourself doing it, you'll probably never do it. And that's, again, this is one of the things that I'm currently dealing with is like, you have these, you have to create a goal, right? And you're like, could I ever do that? That's so like, so far away. Like I'm still way over here and this goal's way over here. Like I want to be a millionaire when I grow up. And like, you're like, I can't, can you imagine yourself like being a millionaire? Because if you can't imagine yourself, you can't visualize a future self, you wearing a fancy suit with some nice shoes or whatever. If you can't visualize that, you're probably never going to get there. So that's like part of it. Formulate a goal and then work on visualizing it every day until it's just like you can bring it up in a second. And you're like, why do I do this? Oh, that's right. I remember now. That's why I do that.
See, that's a lot of the message of that book that I brought up earlier, which is be your future self now. It's like live like you're that person 5 years from
Hmm.
live like you would do the things that you would, if were already at your
Yeah. What do you need to do every day to become that person? Like every day. Like if I want to be a millionaire, every day I need to deal with tenants and I need to deal with this landlording stuff so I can try to get this rental game built up and get enough passive income. Shit, maybe I can retire being a millionaire. I'm still working on just visualizing that myself because like I can easily is that a word? Easilier. I can better visualize being poor than I can being rich because I know being poor. I know what that's like. I know buying 50-cent macaroni and cheese and eating government cheese and having a single mom trying to support an entire family and me doing a paper route and buying clothes for my sister. Like I know all that. I can visualize that. Can I visualize like having enough money in the bank where I'm like, I don't even know what the bills were this month because it's just auto drafted and I don't ever see them, or let's go buy a new truck just because the old one's breaking down or whatever. I'm still working on visualizing that.
That's one thing I have a hard time with. I can't. I say I can't. I can, but I lack the motivation to do so, and I don't know why. Like I have enough motivation to do so much other shit, but like as far as that kind of stuff, I'm like, I'll put that on the back burner, and just it,
See,
it just exacerbates.
and I would venture to say it's probably because the reasoning behind you doing that just isn't strong enough yet. It might get there one day. Like let's say, just for example, like you want to get in shape or whatever. You want to lose some pounds, start walking, but you're like, I'm already so busy and I travel all the time. Like, I mean, it's just like because your reasoning isn't strong enough yet. And then let's say down the road, again, God forbid anything physically would happen, but you're like, I got high blood pressure or like you got some heart palpitations. The doctor's like, dude, this is bad. All of a sudden, your why just got a lot stronger. And with a strong enough why, you can overcome all the hows. Like, well, how am I going to do this? It doesn't matter. If I don't do this, I'm dead. Like that's a pretty strong why. Just food for thought.
No, I got you.
you need to
Yeah.
know the why before you could figure out the how and the what.
Yeah. And again, we got way off topic of mental health and
No, but
mental.
I guess it all goes into one. I mean, because like if you can't get out of that mind frame where you feel like you're hopeless because you keep doing the wrong shit. I mean, finding your right mindset is a good way to start, right? If there's about why you're why, right?
Yeah.
Why you want to feel better, why you want to stop being depressed.
Like why do I pay a life coach? Like why do I try? Why do I try to be better than what I am? And then every day when I, for example, in my case, every day when I get frustrated with my kid and I'm like, good God, you talk a lot. Can you just give me 10 seconds? I cannot deal with any more of your stories that you start from the middle about people that I don't even know. I have no idea what's going on. And then I remember, oh, this is why, because I need to be better than this. I need to rise above where I am now and be a better father figure for her. And sometimes you forget your why for a few seconds. Then I remember it. Then I go back into remembering all the tools and tricks and things that I've learned to disrupt these behaviors, curb them, and recorrect them, course correcting, if you will.
Damn, I picked such a downer title this morning. I'm sorry.
I'm already depressed.
Yeah, I know.
I need to go for a walk after this because I'm super depressed. But you know what's even more depressing is after this, I got to go do a bunch of chores. And then my wife wants me to come home and like build a rock garden around the house. And I'm like, yeah, but there's this other big project that we have to do because we have sort of a new construction house, right? And the yard is still crap. Like I just have weeds growing and there's rocks everywhere. So I got sort of the rocks situated. There's a guy coming in the fall because he's like, that's the best time to do grass. We'll do it in the fall. He's going to come in, do it, bring a machine that's going to get rid of the rocks, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to deal with rocks. But out towards the end of the driveway, we have these rocks that are built up around the drainage pipe. And it just looks like garbage. So I've been trying to take them out and like smoothing it down so the water just runs down naturally instead of having this like rock ball thing.
Soaking, yeah.
And so I was like, I told them like, let's get that done before we build this garden thing. It's just, and all it is like bricks lined up around the house, nothing super fancy. But she's like, I don't want to build that in the wintertime, and I don't want to have flowers in the wintertime, and blah blah blah. I'm like, so she said she's gonna do it.
Yeah. My wife's been bugging me about cutting down a tree in our yard and chopping it up in that. And then last night she's like, you know what? I'll just do it. I'm like, I don't know if I really think it's a good idea. You playing with a chainsaw. You've never touched a power tool in your life. You know?
Well, and see, I know my wife, and what she's gonna do is she's simply gonna take the bricks and just put them on the ground. And then like that's it. She'll shape it probably to the shape we discussed. And then that's it. And then like, I don't know, a month after it's rained, they'll be all like cockeyed and sinking and half sinking. I'm like, that looks great. It's a good thing you didn't wait for us to do it right, huh? Shut up.
It's funny. I should jump on my phone and walk outside because that's like the exact situation that
I imagine. And that's what I want to avoid, and it's real simple. But she tells me, she's like, oh, my dad taught me how to do construction. I'm like, oh yeah, really? Really? Your unemployed dad from Mexico, huh? He taught you how to do. She's never gonna watch this, I hope. But and I was like, so like you know how to do all this? And I was like, well, what do you do? Are you gonna build a foundation, or are we just gonna like stamp the dirt down? And she's like, why do you need to do that? I'm like, oh, he didn't teach you very well, then, did he? I was like, well, you just gonna set the bricks on the dirt? Like,
you'd have a good foundation, right?
That's right. You got to have a good foundation. That sort of ties back into mental health. If you want your mental flowers to bloom, you need to have a garden that has a good foundation, and you got to get the weeds out. You know that?
Yeah. Do you want to end it there? It sounds like everybody has a whole bunch of shit that they got to do.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever, Brett. I mean, I'm not bitching. I mean, no matter if we end it now or end it later, I still got a fun day ahead of me.
You and me both. We cut down an apple tree.
Why? Apple trees are cool.
It's not an apple tree. It's like a crab apple tree.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
Maybe tell your wife to stop eating those crab apples then. It wouldn't be so crabby.
You are what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess I'll pick a better topic next time. I'm sorry.
Not you.
I mean,
not you, it's me.
I think this is a good topic. Mental Health Awareness Month, I think is a pretty good topic. I'm okay with it.
Talking to the wrong people. I'm not really mentally healthy.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm working on getting mental healthy, so I can have a little bit of room to speak.
All right. I guess we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I'm gonna go. Bye, guys.
Be glad.